Good evening.
We're sisters who love to explore
True crime, cryptids, ghosties, haunted locations,
conspiracy theories and all creepy, scary, spooky things.
with a bit of dark humor. Hosted by
Sarah,
and Melissa,
join us as we take a trip to the dark side.
because sometimes dead is better.
Welcome to Necromancy.
Hello.
Hello.
How's it going?
Oh, I'm alive. That's good. How are you?
I am fantastic. Listen,
Mm.
ready? Oh.
Oh, bitch.
It's Mike's Hard Sour Watermelon.
Oh, shit.
And it is Friday night. It's
Yeah.
date night.
Yeah.
We're going out tonight. So I'm going to have a couple of drinks.
Mikey went for hockey. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, that's okay. Where's your darling child?
I think he's downstairs.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I texted him. I said, Auntie and I are recording. Don't yell for me.
I just said the same thing to Evan. Although, here's the funny thing. Evan just took Ruby out for a walk. And in a few seconds here, well, probably in a minute or two at least, you're going to hear the dog running up the stairs.
Yeah, Barrel.
And then probably Beryl running it down the stairs again when she realizes I'm not up there. So, yeah, so be prepared for that.
What a fucking week, bro.
Yeah.
What a fucking week.
Just been busy.
Now, we're just waiting for insurance to get back to us.
Yeah.
Because we had a crazy accident in front of our house in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
Some crazy fucking 24-year-old. There's Zena. Some 24-year-old decided he was going to speed down my street.
In his dad's car, wasn't it?
In his dad's Mustang.
Yeah.
Brand new. Brand spanking fucking new Mustang, too.
Hit some ice.
Lose control and hit my neighbor's car. Hit my kid's car. And my kid's car hit our other neighbor's car. But
Christ.
This is why you have cameras in front of your house.
Yeah.
Because that shit got it all on camera.
There you go.
And it was insane. Now, they caught the guy. Good thing, because
he was trying to escape, wasn't he?
Yeah, he started his car and tried to drive away, but dude, he didn't get very far. Cops got him.
Yeah.
And then cops woke up my neighbor. My neighbor woke us up, but not us. Sorry. Back up.
Mikey.
Woke Mikey up.
You slept through the whole thing, didn't you?
This bitch was taking Tylenol PM. Fucking sponsor us, Tylenol, because I slept right through that shit. Didn't hear a fucking thing.
Yeah. Zena, and it's funny because you were in the spare room, which is closer to the front of the house, right?
Yeah, because I'm just getting over that flu. So I was sleeping in the front room.
Yeah.
I didn't hear shit.
Yeah, well, there you have it. Tylenol PM.
Yeah.
That's what it's supposed to.
Yeah, that shit works because watching the video and then they woke Mikey up at 1:30 in the morning, and Mikey was out front until 3:30 in the morning dealing with all that and the cops and this and that. I didn't hear shit the whole time out.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, so Mikey, and then in the morning, 6 a.m., Mikey goes, yo, some shit. He heard my alarm go off. He goes, hey, Mel. And I said, what? He goes, some shit went on in front of the house last night. And I'm thinking, because of all these fucking home invasions and shit.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Right? I'm thinking, oh my God, did our camera catch something? He's like, "Watch this." And he like showed me a video and it's like the fucking car's getting smashed.
Yeah.
Like, "Holy shit." He's like, "Yeah." And I said, "Well, what's going on with that?" And he goes, "It's all taken care of." He goes,
Yeah.
"Barry came with the tow truck at, 1:30 in the morning, took all 3 fucking cars, dealt with it, and, cops were here. Cops caught the guy, which hallelujah that they did
Yeah.
because Aiden's car has liability only,
Yeah.
right? So if they didn't catch the guy, we would have been fucked,
Yeah.
you know? Like,
Yep.
that would have been bad. But good thing they caught the guy. They caught the guy before they even rang the doorbell.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you stalled down the street.
Well, because if you watch the video, like Mikey was showing me, and past where you see him crash, you can hear him start or right before he starts the car again, you hear somebody going, "Hey, are you okay?"
Oh, shit.
Yeah, and then you can hear him start the car and try to drive away.
I
So that
didn't know
means
that.
yeah, and like if you watch the video, even after the crash happened, you could see lights on the other side of the road.
Yeah.
Like my neighbor's lights turn on.
Oh,
It's like,
wow.
the crash happened at like 12:30.
Yeah.
So it's like somebody called the cops. Hallelujah.
Yeah.
Like, because that
And they
would have sucked.
responded fast enough too.
Well, yeah, because I guess they were like, there was a horrific accident on, so and so street,
Yeah.
you know? Like my street is like a race track. Like it's straight right from the end of my street all the way to the other end. It's straight.
Which is
So,
really messed up because there's a school right there.
yeah, like my
And
street's a
there's
40
speed
zone.
bumps, isn't there? In the
No.
summer. I thought there
No.
were speed bumps down your street
Nope.
towards the beginning of your street in the
Nope.
summer.
Nope. I keep saying this street needs speed bumps because every night in the middle of the night, people are flying down my fucking street.
Oh shit. I thought there
Like
was.
flying. This guy hit a patch of ice and ate shit,
Yeah.
but it's like
Yeah.
I'm like, and I look at Aiden and I'm like, that's why. That right there, that's why you don't fucking speed.
That's right.
Okay? That kid, he's 24 years old. He was arrested and everything because hey, he tried to take off. If he stayed there, like, yeah, he would have gotten in shit still, but he wouldn't have been in as much trouble as he's probably in right now.
Well, now he's probably gonna be getting stunt driving, which is
Yeah.
like your license gets suspended for that.
And he was going like he was gunning it because my street's a 40 zone. I have a school on my street.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he's going to get nabbed with a whole bunch of shit and like leaving the scene of a crash.
Well, attempting to, yeah.
Well, he left. He definitely, sir.
How far did he get?
I have no idea, but
Oh, okay.
apparently, I don't know if this is true or not, but this is what I've been told that when he crashed, his fucking license plate came off. It was in the middle of the street.
Oh my god.
Yeah, like there, Sarah, it looked like somebody took red Lego and just sprinkled it all over the front of my in front of my
Yeah. I know
like
you showed me the picture. That was insane.
it was crazy. There was like
Oh,
red, huh?
the dog just came flying in here. Okay.
Oh,
Go lady. Hey, Ruby. Damn it. Go on,
yeah.
lady. Go on,
So that
lady.
was that was adventurous.
Yeah. Well, glad everybody's okay and nobody was injured. I'm sure
I
he's got
I
some
hope he's not.
injuries, but
I
at least
hope
he's
he's
alive.
not though. I hope he's not. I hope he's just fine. But the way that he like if I keep watching the video, when
Yeah.
he hit my neighbor's car, his car turned around because when
Yeah.
he hit Aiden's car on the driver's side of his car.
Yeah.
So he was facing the opposite way
Yeah.
when he hit Aiden's car. Now, if Aiden's car wasn't there, me and Mikey would be getting fucking new cars right now
Yeah.
because Aiden's car's 15 years old, like it liability only,
Yeah.
right? But our cars are like full coverage,
Mhm.
right? So like if something happens to our cars, we get brand new cars,
Yeah.
and
Well,
I'm like, look, man, I love my car.
yeah. No, that would have been a whole pain in the ass.
And yeah, plus we're going to Florida soon too. So
Yeah.
it just would have been a pain in the fucking ass.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
Aiden's car kind of saved our car.
Yep.
You should have heard the way Mikey told him too, because Aiden didn't wake up either. He's in the
Well,
basement, so he
yeah.
didn't hear shit. And so last week or the week before this happened or whatever, Aiden had to get work done on his car. Now his car is old, so for the past month he's been just getting shit done on his car. He spent like 4 grand on this car in the last like month.
Yeah.
And so he's like, the last time when his alternator and battery and a couple belts and shit went, he was like, the mechanic was like, well, it's like $1,500. And Aiden's like, fuck this shit, sell it. He's like, sell this fucking car. He's like, I'm done. I'm just putting so much money into this fucking car.
Yeah.
And Mikey's like, no, bro, like, keep this car, at least keep it for the rest of the winter. You
Yeah.
know, we'll figure it out in the spring, this and that, blah, 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 blah. So Mikey goes downstairs the other morning and he goes, okay, buddy. He goes, good morning. He goes, I got good news for you and bad news for you. Which one you want first?
Oh shit.
And Aiden was like, I don't know, like, what's up? And he goes, just let me know. What do you want to hear? The good news or the bad news? And Aiden's like, all right, give me the bad news. He goes, bad news is your car got fucking hit really hard in the middle of the night. And Aiden's like, fuck, man. Are you fucking serious? And Mikey's like, all right, ready for the good news? He goes, yeah, tell me the good news. He goes, the insurance company just bought your fucking car.
Yeah.
Okay. And he's like, I put like 4 grand into that car. Mikey's like, don't worry, man. We got receipts. You're going to get all that money back.
That's right. Yep.
You were going to go car shopping. Like,
Yep.
you wanted to fucking get rid of that car last week,
Yep.
you know? But I think Aiden was like, fuck, man.
Yeah. He didn't want it to go down like that,
Nah, man.
obviously.
And dad, I called dad and I told dad, I said, Dad, somebody fucking totaled the Toyota because that was a hand-me-down car from dad,
Yeah.
right? And dad looked, because I was video chatting dad, and he looked in the camera and he goes, that's the second fucking car I've given you that you guys have written off. Because he gave us the Tucson long time ago.
Yeah. And then
And it
that
got
got,
stolen
yeah.
and fucking crashed, and then we had to write that off. And then now this one, I said, Dad, don't give me no more cars, please.
Yeah.
Don't give us any more cars. Just you
That's
know,
funny.
it was funny. That was just really funny that dad said it. He's like, this is the second fucking car I've given you that you've written off.
Yep.
I'm like, shit, that's true.
That's funny.
Um,
I never
yeah.
even thought of that either.
Oh fuck, I didn't think about it either, but I thought that was so funny when dad said that.
Yeah.
Because I was like, holy shit, ain't that the fucking truth?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Ugh. Well, are we ready to dig into our part 2 of Jim Jones?
yes, but actually I have one more thing to say
Mm.
before we start. Did you hear the news today, bro? Were you watching the news at all today?
I never watch the news. I hate the news.
Apparently, the Innocence Program in California wants to give Scott Peterson another trial. Did you
Oh,
hear
really?
about that shit?
No.
Okay, so apparently there's new evidence saying that he didn't commit this crime. He didn't kill his wife and unborn child.
Oh, Jesus.
You know this case, right? Scott Peterson?
Uh, yeah, I'm pretty sure I remember.
Okay, cool. He's on my roster. So I'm gonna
Yeah.
do him. Like what made me think of it, I just looked over at my like little calendar and I saw Scott Peterson. Dude, the innocence programming, he's been in jail since like 2002.
Yeah, and he was sentenced to death in '05.
Yep, and then they overturned his
Yeah.
death conviction to a life sentence, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, now they're talking about new evidence and they're talking about, how he could be innocent. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
Yo, if he's innocent, that's fucked up.
Yeah.
Because he just spent the last like 20 years in prison.
My God. Yeah, make sure we cover that when
Oh,
that
yeah.
that all gets settled.
What is he? One, two, three, four down on my list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus,
So,
eh?
anyways, yeah, I'm actually very excited to hear about the rest of Jim Jones. And you know what's funny is like I haven't listened to anything about Jim Jones since. So I'm like, I'm keeping everything fresh.
Mwahaha. Good.
Sorry.
Okay. Well, we left off at latter rain movement is where we're
Mhm.
supposed to be picking up from.
Okay. Give us a little recap.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, should we recap?
Just give a little quick one for the last like 2 to 5 minutes of what you read.
Okay, so we'll go back. I'll go back to the last little bit. Let me see. Where should I start off from then? Do 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 do. Okay. The Assemblies of God. I'll
Mhm.
start off from there. So, the Assemblies of God was strongly opposed to the latter rain movement. In 1955, they assigned a new pastor to the Laurel Street Tabernacle
Tabernacle.
who enforced their denominational ban on healing revivals.
Mhm.
This led Jones to leave and establish Wings of Healing, a new church that would later renamed People's Temple. Jim Jones knew his new church attracted only 20 members who had come with him from the Laurel Street Tabernacle and was not able to financially support his vision. At one point, he even sold pet monkeys to raise funds. I know we remember
Yeah.
that. Um, Jim saw a need for publicity and began seeking a way to popularize his ministry and recruit members.
Mhm.
So that's where we left off.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't like the whole selling monkeys bit.
No. It was funny because when I was looking at pictures um of him and stuff, there's pictures of him with the monkeys, and I was like, what an ass.
Yeah.
I can't I don't know, man. When it comes to any sort of animals and stuff, I just see if it were up to me though, like I would have a whole farm.
Oh yeah.
I would. I would have a whole farm of just like rescue animals.
Yeah.
And that's how we got Ruby.
Yep.
Ruby was a rescue as well.
Yep. She was in a barn.
Oh yeah. So like I don't
Well,
know.
that
I
just fucking
just
went full circle. You said you want a barn full of animals. She came out of a barn.
that's very true, eh?
Yeah.
um
Interesting.
anyway, okay, let's start with the latter rain movement. So Jim began to closely associate with the Independent Assemblies of God, or IAOG, an international group of churches which embraced the latter rain movement.
Okay.
The IAOG had few requirements for ordaining ministers, and they were also accepting of divine healing practices. In June of 55, Jim held his first joint meetings with William Branham, a healing evangelist and
Mhm.
Pentecostal leader in the global healing revival. In 56, Jim was ordained as an IAOG minister by Joseph Madison Bowes, a leader in the latter rain movement and the IAOG. Jim quickly rose to prominence in the group and and hosted a healing convention to take place June 11th to 15th, 1956, in Indianapolis, Cadle Tabernacle. That fucking
Tabernacle.
word. That fucking word. Needing a well known figure to draw crowds, he arranged to share the pulpit again with Branham. I will
Mhm.
post pictures of him as well so everyone knows what he looks like. Branham was also known to tell attendees their name, address, and why they came for prayer before pronouncing them healed. Jim was intrigued by Branham's methods and began performing the same feats.
He slapped him in the head and say, "Heal."
Pretty much. Jim and Branham's meetings were very successful and attracted an audience of 11,000 at their first joint campaign.
Holy shit.
Yeah, that's quite a feat for the first
Literally.
campaign.
Holy shit.
But um, at the convention, Branham issued a prophetic endorsement of Jones and his ministry, saying that God used the convention to send forth a new great ministry.
Hmm.
Many attendees believe that Jim's performance indicated that he possessed a supernatural gift, and coupled with Branham's endorsement, it led to rapid growth of People's Temple. Jim
Yeah.
was particularly effective at recruitment among the African American attendees at the conventions. According to a newspaper report, regular attendance at the People's Temple swelled to 1,000 thanks to the publicity Branham provided to Jim and People's Temple.
Damn.
Yeah. Following the convention, Jim renamed his church the People's Temple Christian Church Full Gospel to associate it with Full Gospel Pentecostalism. The name was later shortened to the People's Temple.
Wow.
Jim participated in a series of multi state revival campaigns with Branham in the second half of the 1950s. Jim claimed to be a follower and promoter of Branham's message during the period. People's
Mm.
Temple hosted a second International Pentecostal Convention in 1957, which was again headlined by Branham. Uh, through the conventions and with the support of Branham and Matson Bowes, Jim secured connections throughout the latter rain movement.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Jim adopted one of the latter rain's key doctrines, which he continued to promote for the rest of his life, the manifested sons of God. William Branham and the latter rain movement promoted the belief that individuals could become manifestations of God with supernatural gifts and superhuman abilities. Oh, God. Ugh. Anyways, they believed that such a manifestation signaled the second coming of Christ and
Ugh.
that the I was waiting, and that the people endowed with these special gifts would usher in a millennial age of heaven on earth.
Think
Gag me with a fucking spoon.
just
Like,
think about how fucking crazy that sounds.
I'm
Like,
sorry, everybody has their own beliefs. That's fine. Um, I have my own beliefs,
sure,
and I know you do. I believe that
sure.
there's something out there, but this whole and I don't want anybody that's, very religious or anything to take offense, but
No,
I
listen, there's no offense. Here's the thing is when it comes to stuff like extreme, okay, there's bad in everything. There's good in everything. Okay? I'm not saying I would never say that the church is all bad. For some people, I have girls at work, ladies at work that are like, I literally just go to a church because it's peaceful and it gives me a sense of peace and calm. And I
yeah.
said, that's awesome. I'm happy for, like I'm all for that. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
I just personally don't like the whole preaching. I know people are going to take it the wrong way. I'm all for what makes people feel good. That's fine. Perfectly fine.
Yeah.
I just don't like when they're preaching the Bible and the stories are the fucking dumbest thing I've ever heard. It doesn't make sense. It
Well,
doesn't make sense to me.
it's just a far stretch.
Like it just sounds like a storybook that people made up,
Yeah.
and the whole 10 commandments thing. Like I can imagine what this Jim Jones guy was preaching.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm sure some of it like there had to have been good in it for people to follow him.
Yeah.
Like and it probably gave people a sense of hope and belonging and all that. And I'm love that. I love it.
Yeah. I just
Then
don't like where it ended.
yeah, it all went to hell because you have one person who's power hungry
Yeah.
and he's getting that power and he's
Yeah.
getting that control over these people.
Yeah.
And that is where I find it fucked up because if you look throughout history, what are most of the wars about?
Oh, yeah.
Religion.
Yeah.
People have
It
been
was huge.
fighting wars for religion for fucking thousands of years.
Yeah.
And that's the part of it that I don't like about it.
Oh, yeah. Many people have died in the name of God.
Yes,
So,
I just think that that is just so us as humans are we're shit creatures.
yeah, we can be. That's
Yeah,
for sure.
like So
Yeah.
I just that's the whole thing to me. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm sure there was good in everything that started. I'm sure that he didn't go into it knowing that he was gonna be, kill fucking 900 plus people.
You never know what was in his mind,
You never
but
know, but I don't think personally, I don't think that he went into it in a bad
no,
spot.
no.
Like he probably went into it
Expecting to kill
thinking,
people. No.
right, like, but he did, and he's a fucking piece of shit.
Yeah.
Power hungry piece of shit. But that's what happens when you give people that kind of power.
Yeah.
The power of the church, right? Like, look at all these
He
fucking
sounds like he was kind of like a narcissist,
huge.
right?
Of course, you would be if people give you that kind of power. You would be.
Well, yeah, like he loved the idea
Yeah,
of being in that have that power and
terrifying.
people looking at him like a like almost godly,
Yeah,
right?
that's
So,
the same with like the priests in the Catholic Church.
mhm.
They're very powerful fucking people.
Yeah.
Like they have everybody literally bowing to them all the time. That's
Oh
why
yeah.
they do get away with a lot of shit.
Yeah. Well,
I just
even like back in the day, like priests were held pretty freaking high, like next to kings.
Yeah, and look at all the fucking shit that they did.
Oh,
Still
I've got a
do.
dog. I got a doggy with me who won't leave me alone here.
Oh yeah.
So,
Rube. You're gonna
the good
hear her
baby.
whine in a minute.
You probably well, I'm trying to pet her to keep her quiet because she'll sit there and cry until I pet her. So, okay, so let's continue.
Yeah.
Uh, so Jim was fascinated with the idea and adapted it to promote his own utopian ideas, and eventually the idea that he was himself a manifestation of God,
There you
just like
go.
I was just saying.
There you
um,
go.
yeah, went right to his head.
Of course it
Um,
did.
oh yeah. By the late 1960s, Jim came to teach. He was a manifestation of Jesus, or sorry, of Christ the Revolution.
Oh my god.
Branham was a major influence on Jim, who subsequently adopted elements of Branham's methods, doctrines, and style. Like Branham, Jones would later claim to be a return of Elijah the prophet, the voice of God, a manifestation of Christ, and promote the belief that the end of the world was imminent.
Mhm.
Jim learned some of his most successful recruitment tactics from Branham. Jones eventually separated from the latter rain movement following a bitter disagreement with Branham, in which Jim prophesied Branham's death. Their disagreement was possibly related to Branham's racial teachings or Branham's increasingly vocal opposition to communism. So they
Yeah.
had a falling out.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so there's the next part here, which is the peace mission movement. Okay, Ruby, hold on, baby. You need to go lay your little booty down. Yes, go lay down. All right. Okay, so the peace mission movement. Through the latter rain movement, Jim became aware of Father Divine, an African American spiritual leader of the international peace mission movement, who was often derided by Pentecostal ministers for his claims to divinity.
Mhm.
In 1956, Jim made his first visit to investigate Father Divine's peace mission in Philadelphia. Jim was careful to explain that his visit to the peace mission was so he could give an authentic, unbiased, and objective statement about his activities to his fellow Pentecostal ministers.
Mhm.
Divine served as another important influence on the development of Jim's ministry. While publicly disavowing many of Father Divine's teachings, Jim actually began to promote Divine's teachings on communal living and gradually implemented many of the outreach practices he witnessed at the Peace Mission, including setting up a soup kitchen and providing free groceries and clothing to people in need.
Okay.
So, not all bad.
Not all bad.
Like I stand behind that. That would
Yeah.
be,
But
that's
I
good.
mean, it didn't start off all bad.
Mhm. Mhm. Okay, so Jim made a second visit to Father Divine in 1958 to learn more about his practices. Jim bragged to his congregation that he would like to be the successor of Father Divine and made many comparisons between their two ministries. Jim began progressively implementing the disciplinary practice he learned from Father Divine, which increasingly took control over the lives of members of People's Temple.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we're going to get into.
Sorry.
Okay. We're going to get into racial integration. So in 1960, Indianapolis Mayor Charles Boswell appointed Jones director of the local Human Rights Commission. Jim ignored Boswell's advice to keep a low profile. However, and he used the position to secure new outlets for his views on local radio and television programs. The mayor and other commissioners asked him to curtail his public actions, but he refused. Jim was widely cheered at meetings of the NAACP and the Urban League when he encouraged his audience to be more militant, capping his speech with, "Let my people go." Dear God. During his time as commission director, Jim helped to radically integrate churches, restaurants, the telephone company, the Indianapolis Police Department, a theater, and an amusement park, and the Indiana University Health Methodist Hospital when swastikas were painted on the homes of two black families. Oh
Oh
my
my God.
Jim walked through the neighborhood, comforted the local black community, and counseled white families not to move. Um, you got to remember, like, this is different times, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is now the 60s. So, Jim set up sting operations in order to catch restaurants which refused to serve black customers and wrote to American Nazi Party leaders and passed their responses to the media. In 1961, Jim suffered a collapse and was hospitalized. The hospital accidentally placed Jim in its black ward, and he refused to be moved. He
Oh.
began, he began to make the beds and empty the bedpans of black patients. Political pressures, which resulted from Jim's actions, caused hospital officials to desegregate the wards. So he was making a stand,
Yep.
and I love that. Um, I do love that. I love that he did that.
Yep. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. Good.
so
There's certain things that,
mhm. Okay, so in Indiana, Jim was criticized for his um, integrationist views. People's Temple became a target of white supremacists.
Mm-hmm. Of course it
Uh,
would.
oh yeah. Um, Among several incidents, a swastika was placed on the temple. A stick of dynamite was left in a temple coal pile, and a dead
Mm.
cat was thrown at Jim's house
What
after a
was
threatening
thrown?
phone. A dead cat.
Oh my God.
By the sounds of it, though, when he was younger, dead animals don't bother him.
Yeah.
So,
Oh yeah.
fucking guy. Ugh. Nevertheless, the publicity which was generated by Jim's activities attracted a larger congregation. By the end of 61, Indianapolis was a far more racially integrated city, and
Mhm.
quote, Jim Jones was almost entirely responsible. So
Yep.
that was good. Um, okay, so now we're getting to Rainbow Family. So Jim and his wife adopted several non-white children. So this is
Mhm.
where, remember, we were saying he had 9 kids.
Yep.
Yeah, this is where it was. He did adopt
Yep.
and stated, integration is a more personal thing with me now. It's a question of my son's future. He also portrayed the temple as a quote, rainbow family. In 1954, the Joneses adopted their first child, Agnes. who was part Native American.
Oh,
In
wow.
1959, they adopted 3 Korean American children named Lou, Stephanie, and Suzanne, and encouraged temple members to adopt orphans from war-ravaged Korea.
Okay.
Stephanie Jones died age 5 in a car accident in May of
Oh,
1959.
that's sad.
In June of 1959, Jim and his wife had their only biological child, naming him Stephen Gandhi.
Stefan, what?
Gandhi.
I thought you said zombie.
No.
I was like, what the fuck? Stefan Zombie?
Stephen Gandhi.
Gandhi.
In 1961, they became the first white couple in Indiana to adopt a black child, naming him
Okay.
Jim Jones Jr.
Why would they name their biological kid Jim Jones Jr.?
Yeah. Yep. Or James W. Jones Jr. They
Okay.
adopted a white son originally named Timothy Glenn Tupper, shortened to Tim, whose birth mother was a member of the temple. Jones' father, Jim John, and in brackets it says chemo, with temple member Carolyn Layton.
Okay.
Okay, so we've gotten to the part now where it's relocating People's Temple. So,
Oh, yeah. This is where it gets fucked up.
yeah. So, in 1961, Jim warned his congregation that he had received visions of a nuclear attack that would devastate Indianapolis.
Yep.
His wife confided to her friends that he was becoming increasingly paranoid and fearful.
So it's
Le-
just gonna just destroy Indianapolis?
Apparently,
Okay, just
he was
Indianapolis.
going to devastate Indianapolis. Yeah,
Just Indianapolis, though. So you
apparently.
could have moved anywhere else in America but
Mhm.
Indianapolis.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that was just a fucking excuse, but whatever. Let's
That would have
go
been,
big or go home, right?
yeah,
Go somewhere
because,
super far.
yeah, could you imagine? Be like, we have to go way down south
Yeah,
because something's gonna destroy Indianapolis. But sir, why didn't we just go shut the fuck up? We gotta go to South America.
pretty much.
What the fuck?
Okay, so like other followers of William Brennan, who moved to South America during the 1960s, Jim may have been influenced by Brennan's 1961 prophecy concerning the destruction of the United States in a nuclear war.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. Jones began to look for a way to escape the destruction he believed was imminent. Oh, excuse me. In January of 1962, he read
Aw,
an yeah,
that's when Mama was born.
yeah. He read an Esquire magazine article that purport, purported South America to be the safest place to reside to escape any impending nuclear war.
Okay.
Jim decided to travel South America to scout for a site to relocate People's Temple. Jim made a stop in Georgetown, Guyana, on his way to Brazil. Jim held a revival meetings in Guyana, which was a British colony. Continuing to Brazil, Jim's family rented a modest 3-bedroom home in Belo Horizonte. I think that's how you pronounce it.
That's right.
Uh, Jim studied the local economy and receptiveness of racial minorities to his message, but found language to be a barrier. Careful not to portray himself as a communist, he spoke of an apostolic apostolic communal lifestyle rather than Marxism.
Okay.
The family moved to Rio de Janeiro in mid 1963, where they worked with the poor in the oh, favelas.
Yeah. Yep.
Favelas.
Yeah, those are like where all the gangs are in Brazil.
Yeah,
The
yeah, like
favelas
like
or favelas.
like the slums, kind of. No.
Yeah, yeah. That's where all
Mm-hmm.
the gang activity is happening in Brazil.
Mm-hmm.
Dangerous there.
Yeah. Um. So, unable to find a location he deemed suitable for People's Temple, Jones became plagued by guilt for abandoning the civil rights struggle in Indiana. During the year of his absence, regular attendance at People's Temple declined to less than 100.
Oh shit.
Jim demanded the People's Temple send all its revenue to him in South America to support his efforts and the church went into debt to support his mission.
Mm.
In late 1963, Archie LaJames, it's spelled Ljames, sent word that the temple was about to collapse and threatened to resign if Jones did not soon return. Jim reluctantly returned to Indiana. So he arrived in 1963 to find People's Temple bitterly divided. Financial issues and low attendance forced Jim to sell the People's Temple Church building and to relocate to a smaller building nearby. To raise money, you good?
Yeah,
To,
sorry. Still got a
that's
little residual cough.
Yeah, that's okay. So to raise money, Jim briefly returned to the revival circuit, traveling and holding healing campaigns with latter rain groups, possibly to distract People's Temple members from the issues facing their group. He told his Indiana congregation that the world would be engulfed by nuclear war on July 15th, 1967, leading to a new socialist Eden on earth, and that the temple must move to Northern California for safety.
Mm.
My goodness. So during 1964, Jim made multiple trips to California to find a suitable location to relocate. In 65, Jim and his followers began moving to their new location in Redwood Valley, California, near the city of Ukiah. I think it's Ukiah. Russell Winberg, People's Temple assistant pastor,
What do you
strongly
mean
resists
Ukiah? How's that spelled?
UKAIH.
UKAAH?
No, UKIAH.
Okay. I have
Ukiah?
no idea.
All right.
Go ahead.
Um, so Russell Winberg, People's Temple assistant pastor, strongly resisted Jones's efforts to move the congregation and warned members that Jim was abandoning Christianity.
Mm.
Winberg took over leadership of the Indianapolis church where Jim departed, and about 140 of Jim's most loyal followers made the move to California, while the rest remained behind with Winberg.
Mm-hmm.
In California, Jim took a job as a history and government teacher at an adult education school in Ukiah. Uh, Jim used his position to recruit for People's Temple, teaching his students the benefits of Marxism and lecturing on religion.
Hmm.
Jim planted loyal members of the People's Temple in the classes to help him with recruitment. So Jim recruited 50 new members to the People's Temple in the first few months. In 1967, Jim's followers coaxed another 75 members of the Indianapolis congregation to move to California. So he's
Wow.
getting he's working his ass off to get his numbers up again.
Yep.
Okay,
All
so
this
in
all this time he's scouting out South America too.
yeah, oh yeah,
Yeah, so he knew he was gonna take
yeah,
everybody down there.
yeah. He was. I think he was moving towards that. So in 1968, the People's Temple, California location was admitted to the Disciples of Christ. Jim began to use the denominational connection to promote People's Temple as part of the 1.5 million member denomination. He played up famous members of the Disciples, including Lyndon Johnson and J. Edgar Hoover,
Ugh.
and misrepresented the nature of his position in the denomination. By 1969, Jim increased the membership in People's Temple in California to 300.
That sounds a little Scientology.
It's getting there.
Celebrity Center,
Yeah, yeah, it's getting there. So hold
yep,
on a second.
which is a fucking cult, by the way.
Yeah, it,
Scientology?
it really is though.
That's
You
a
ever,
fucking cult.
kind of, yeah,
That's a fucking cult.
kind of, yeah,
Not kind of that bitch is a fucking cult. You know, every time that I would be like when I was in college and I would be downtown Toronto and shit, and I would walk because there used to be right at like Young and Charles, there was a Church of Scientology center.
yeah,
I would fucking cross the road because those people freak me out, man. Sometimes they'd be
yeah.
standing out front, like handing out pamphlets and shit, and I'm like, fuck that.
Nope, not today.
Cult. Fucking cult.
Yeah. Okay, so now we're gonna get into. Hold on one second.
Oh my lord.
Oh, early reports of abuse. Oh, what is she barking at?
Oh god, who knows? That's
Did
gonna
you did you see that? Did you? Because your dog is a senior now, and she's deaf. Did you see the little video that I sent you about the senior dog and the guy? The
Yeah.
dog is just barking at like a fucking outlet on the wall,
No.
and he's like, "Are we mad at the outlet? What did you do? What did you do?" It was so funny.
That's gonna be Xena.
And now Ruby's barking. So there's
Yeah.
that.
Aiden ordered food, I think.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
That's what it
that'll
is. So
do
the
it.
guy dropped off the food and
Yeah.
Xena's now going fucking well, she was
That'll do
going
it.
ape shit.
Fair enough. Okay. So, um early reports of abuse. So, Jim began using illicit drugs after moving to California, which further heightened his paranoia. He increasingly used fear to control and manipulate his followers. Jim
Mhm.
frequently warned his followers that there was an enemy seeking to destroy them. The identity of the enemy that changed over time from the Ku Klux Klan to Nazis to redneck vigilantes,
Yeah.
and finally the American government.
Yep.
He frequently prophesied that fires, car accidents, and deaths or injury would come upon anyone unfaithful to him and his teachings. He constantly pressed his followers to be aggressive in promoting and fulfilling his beliefs.
Hmm.
So, Jim established a planning commission made up of his lieutenants to direct the People's Temple communal lifestyle. Jim, through the planning commission, began controlling all aspects of the lives of his followers. Members who joined People's Temple turned over all their assets to the church in
Jesus.
exchange for free room and board. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I could never.
Mm-mm.
Back then, though, I guess it was different, but like, Jesus.
But even then, like, what the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
Now you
Mm-mm.
have to turn over all your assets to them. I
Yeah,
don't
no.
sell your fucking house, give all the money to me,
Yeah, that's insane.
and I'll give you free room and board, but I just took your house.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah. He had to be quite persuasive for that many people to actually go through with that.
Yeah, fuck apparently.
Yeah, really. Jesus. Okay, so members who worked outside the temple turned over their income to be used for the benefit of the community. Jim directed groups of his followers to work on various projects for additional income and set up an agricultural operation, in Redwood Valley to grow food. Oh, I'm burping. Large community
Mhm.
outreach projects were organized, and temple members were bused to perform work and community service across the region. The first known cases of serious abuse in People's Temple arose in California as the Planning Commission carried out discipline against members who were not fulfilling Jones's vision or following the rules. Jim's control over the members of the People's Temple extended to their sex lives and who could be married. Wow.
Yeah.
Some members were forced to get abortions,
Mm.
and Jim began to require sexual favors from the wives of some members of the church.
Yep.
Raped several male members of he also rapes several male members of his congregation.
Oh.
Ugh. Members who rebelled against Jim's control were punished with reduced food rations, harsher work schedules, public ridicule and humiliations, and sometimes with physical violence.
And these
As the
people stayed.
and they stayed. As the temple's member grew, Jim created an armed security group to ensure orders among his followers and to guarantee his own personal safety.
Hmm.
Yeesh. Okay, so by
This
the end of
was Jim Jones the one who was fucking everybody's wives?
I think he did, yeah, and some men too, apparently.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it was David Koresh though who was saying like nobody can have sex with women except for me.
Oh, yeah, no, that wasn't him. That
That
wasn't
wasn't
Jim.
Jim Jones?
No,
Okay.
I don't think so, at least. By the end of 1969, People's Temple was growing rapidly. Jim's message of economic socialism and racial equality, along with the integrated nature of People's Temple, proved attractive, especially to students and racial minorities.
Yeah.
By 1970, the temple opened branches in several cities including San Fernando, San Francisco, and Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm.
As Jim began shifting his focus to major cities across California because of limited expansion opportunities in Ukiah, he eventually moved the People's Temple headquarters to San Francisco, which was a
Mm-hmm.
major center for radical protest movements. By 73, People's Temple reached 2,570 members
Damn.
with, hold on, 36,000 subscribers to its fundraising newsletter.
Damn.
So yeah, it was growing. It was getting big. So Jim grew the temple by purposefully targeting other churches. In 1970, Jim and 150 of his followers took a trip to San Francisco's Missionary Baptist Church. Jim held a faith healing revival meeting wherein he impressed the crowd by claiming to heal a man of cancer. His followers later
Oh yeah.
admitted his followers later admitted to helping him stage the quote unquote healing.
Yeah. This is fucked. I
Yeah.
remember it.
So at the end of the event, he began attacking and condemning Baptist teachings and encouraging the members to abandon their church and to join him.
He's the dude that fucking would like have like a chicken liver, right?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. And he would like have the person that had the quote quote cancer
Yeah.
sit there, and then like the guy would be healing and he would have like a piece of chicken heart and he'd be
Yeah.
like, heal, and then he'd
Yeah.
fucking have the chicken heart and he's like, this is the cancer. I
Yeah.
pulled it out of you.
Yeah. Yeah. Something like
Yeah.
that. Yes.
Has some fucking twisted shit.
Yeah, that's messed up. But people believed it.
Yeah, well, yeah. If Sarah, if you were in that situation, think about that, and you were so desperate with cancer,
Hmm.
you'd probably believe it too. In
Well,
that situation.
you would hope that it was possible, right?
Yeah.
Because what else can you hope for? You're just waiting to die.
Well, it's just like somebody on the corner of the street doing that card trick magic,
Yeah.
right? It's an illusion, but people are like, "Holy fuck, like he
Yeah.
actually fucking did that shit. That's
Yeah.
cool."
Yeah.
Right? Like that's kind of the same thing.
Well, yeah. Makes it believable, right?
Yeah.
So, in the event, if the event was successful and Jim recruited about 200 members for People's Temple. In a less successful attempt in 1971, Jim and a large number of his followers visited the tomb and shrine erected for Father Divine shortly after his death. Jim
Mm.
confronted Divine's wife and claimed to be the reincarnation of Father Divine.
No.
At a banquet that evening, Jim's followers seized control of the event, and Jim addressed Divine's followers, again claiming that he was Father Divine's successor. Divine's wife rose up and accused Jim of being the devil in disguise and demanded he leave.
Mhm.
Jim managed to recruit only 12 followers through the event. Jim became active in San Francisco politics and was able to gain contact with prominent local and state politicians. Thanks to their growing numbers, Jim and the People's Temple played instrumental role in George Moscone's election as mayor in 1975. Moscone subsequently appointed Jones as the chairman of the San Francisco Housing Authority Commission.
Oh.
Jim hosted local
Political?
yeah, there it is. Political figures at his
I
San
got you.
Francisco. Oh, I don't know what's wrong with me. Anyway, that one stumped me. At his San Francisco apartment for discussions. In September of 76, Assemblyman Willie Brown served as master of ceremonies at a large testimonial dinner for Jones, attended by Governor Jerry Brown and Lieutenant Governor Mervyn Demali. At that dinner, Willie Brown touted as Jones, touted Jones as, quote, what you should see every day when you look in the mirror,
Yeah.
and said he was a combination of Martin Luther King, Angela Davis, Albert Einstein, and Mao?
Einstein? Albert Einstein?
Albert Einstein.
You said Einstein.
No, I didn't. And
Yes, you
Mao.
fucking did.
Oh, fuck.
You said Albert Einstein. What is
I'm
this, the
looking at
fucking
two different names. That's
Flintstones?
probably why.
Albert Einstein.
Yes, Albert Einstein. The man, the myth, the
Yabba
legend.
dabba do.
Okay. Well, thank you for pointing that out.
You're
Now.
welcome.
Okay. Knew I could count on you.
Always.
Harvey Milk spoke to audiences during political rallies held at the temple, and he wrote to Jones after one such visit. Rev Jim, it may take me many a day to come back down from the high that I reached today. I found
Harvey
something.
Milk said that?
Yes, and it's continuing if you want to listen.
You shut the fuck up.
I found something dear today. I found a sense of being that makes up for all the all the hours and energy placed in a fight. I found what you wanted me to find. I shall be back, for I can never leave.
Huh.
Yes. So, through his connections with California politicians, Jones was able to establish contacts with key national political figures. Jim and Moscone met privately with Vice President candidate Walter Mondale on his campaign plane days before the 76 election, leading Mondale to publicly praise the temple. First Lady Rosalind Carter met with Jones on multiple occasions, corresponded with him about Cuba, and spoke with him about the grand opening of the San Francisco headquarters, where he received louder applause than she did. Jim forged alliance with key columnists and others at the San Francisco Chronicle and other press outlets that gave Jones favorable press during his early years in California. Okay, so that ends that little part.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're going to skip to the escape to Guyana.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so here's where it starts to get a little bit. Now that we've got all the fucking political shit out of the way, or at least that part of it, now we're going to enter to the escape of Guyana. So in the fall of 1973, Jim and the Planning Commission devised a plan to escape from the United States in the event of a government raid, and they began to develop a long-term plan to relocate People's Temple. People decided on Guyana as a favorable location, citing its recent revolution, socialist government, and the favorable reaction Jones received when he traveled there in 63.
Hmm.
So in October, the group voted unanimously to set up an agricultural commune in Guyana. In December, Jones and Il James traveled to Guyana to find a suitable location. In a newspaper interview, Jimson indicated that he would rather settle his commune in a communist country like China or the Soviet Union, and that was saddened about his inability to do so. Jim described Lenin and Stalin as his heroes and saw the Soviet Union as an ideal society. No, thank you.
That's rough.
Yeah, absolutely not. Not for me. But this happened. So by the summer of 74, land and supplies were purchased in Guyana. Jim was put in charge of the project and oversaw the installation of a power generation station, clearance of fields for farming, and the construction of dormitories to prepare for the first settlers.
Oh,
What did you drop?
I'm good.
Okay. In December of 1974, the first group arrived in Guyana to start operating the commune that would become known as Jonestown.
Mm-hmm.
Jones left James to oversee Jonestown while he returned to the United States to continue his efforts to combat the negative press. He was largely unsuccessful, and more stories of abuse in People's Temple were leaked to the public. March of 77, Marshall Kilduff published a story in New West magazine exposing abuses at the People's Temple. The article included allegations by the temple defectors of physical, emotional, and sexual abuse.
God damn.
Yeah. The article convinced Jones that it was time to permanently relocate to South America, began to compel members of People's Temple to make the move with him. Jim promoted the commune as a means to create both a socialist paradise and a sanctuary. From the media scrutiny in San Francisco, Jim purported to
Mm-hmm.
establish it as a model communist community, adding that the temple comprised the purest communists there are. Once they arrived in Jonestown, Jim prevented members from leaving the settlement, so he was holding them captive. At the people that wanted to leave couldn't leave anymore.
Yeah.
Entertaining movies from Georgetown that the settlers had watched were mostly canceled in favor of Soviet propaganda.
He had their passports, right?
He had everything.
Yeah.
They were stuck. There
Fuck,
there was
man.
no there was no getting out of this now.
Fuck. That is scary shit.
Yeah. He knew he had them in a tough spot. Shorts and documentaries on American social problems, lessons on Soviet affiliations, Jones' crisis, and the alleged mercenaries dispatched by Tim Stone, who had defected from the temple and turned against the group, were the topic of adult midnight lectures and classroom discussions of Jones's discourses about revolution and adversaries. Jonestown had about 50 settlers at the start of 1977 who were expanding the commune, but it was not ready to handle a large influx of settlers.
Hmm.
Bureaucratic requirements after Jim arrived sapped labor resources for other needs. Buildings fell into disrepair, and weeds encroached on fields. Um,
Hmm.
James warned Jim that the facilities could only support 200 people, but Jim believed the need to relocate was urgent and determined to move immediately. In May of 77, Jim and about 600 of his followers arrived in Jonestown. About 400 more followed in the subsequent months. Jim began moving the temple's final assets overseas and started to sell off property in the United States. The
Wow.
People's Temple had over $10 million. Do you know how much do you know how much that was worth in 2020?
$10 million. I'm gonna say 20 million.
Higher.
50 million.
Just a bit lower.
49 million.
42.
42.
42.7.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, yeah, that's a lot of money.
Jesus
Uh,
Christ.
yeah.
And these
So,
people lived in fucking like squalor in Guyana.
yeah, well, they gave him everything
That's
to live like that. Fucking disgusting. Okay, so yeah, they had $10 million, which was 42.7 in 2020 dollars in assets at the time.
wow.
Despite the negative press prior to his departure, James was still well respected outside of the People's Temple for setting up a radically integrated church which helped the disadvantaged. 68% of Jonestown residents were black,
Yeah.
majority.
Yeah.
So
And
for
it,
the first several months, temple members worked 6 days a week from approximately 6:30 a.m. until 6 p.m. with an hour for lunch. The,
wow, eh?
the work week was shortened to 8 hours a day for 5 days a week in the middle of 78 after Jim's health started to fail and his wife started taking on more of the management of Jonestown's activities.
Mm-hmm.
After the day's work ended, temple members would attend several hours of activities in a pavilion, including class in socialism. Jones compared this schedule to North Korean system of 8 hours of work daily, followed by 8 hours of study.
Wow.
No thanks.
Yeah, no thanks. Fuck that.
Yeah. This also comported with the temple's practice of gradually subjecting its followers to sophisticated mind control and behavior modification techniques borrowed from Kim Sung's Korea and Mao Zedong's China.
God damn.
Jim would often read news and commentary, including items from Radio Moscow and Radio Havana, and was known to side with the Soviets over the Chinese during the Sino Soviet split.
Hmm.
Oh, Jesus Christ. None of that sounds good to me.
No.
Um,
This was in 67,
ooh,
69.
this was in 78.
Holy shit.
Yeah. This is the same year that everything went down, I think.
Yeah.
So, um, Jim's news reading usually portrayed the U.S. as a capitalist and imperialist villain, while casting socialist leaders such as Kim Sung, Robert Mugabe, and Joseph Stalin in a positive light. Recordings of commune meetings show how livid and frustrated Jones would get when anyone did not understand or find interesting uh, the message Jim was placing upon them. Jim forced every member of the People's Temple to say they were homosexual.
Okay.
Well, yeah, while proclaiming himself the only heterosexual.
Yeah, here we go.
In spite of this, Jim was bisexual.
Yeah, I'm sure he was. He was fucking raping men.
Yeah, having sex with both male and female followers in Jonestown.
Yeah.
Women who slept with him claimed he was the best lover they ever had.
Yuck.
People's Temple member Tim Cater felt Jones put them up to that kind of talk. So,
Of course he did. You tell everybody that I fuck like a king.
yeah, pretty much,
Like,
right?
yeah, that's pretty much what it is. Like, that's it. Like, you're gonna tell people this, or
Yeah,
like they had him so high up on a pedestal.
yeah,
Like, what were they gonna do? Say, yo, he's fucking weak.
yeah.
He's a fucking pervert. He's this, that. They're not gonna say that.
No, yeah. So, okay, so we are getting. Oh, oh, sorry, hubby just got home. You want to say hi, hubby?
What's that? How's it going?
He brought me a drink. The
Yeah, he's
love
like,
is
get
real.
liquored up, bitch.
It's date night.
Hmm.
Have a drink.
Yeah.
You want to take Ruby with you there, my love? Okay, come on. Okay. Okay, so we're getting now to White Knights. So Jim's paranoia increased in Jonestown as he became fearful of government raid on the commune. Concerned the community would not be able to resist an attack, he began holding drills to test their readiness, which he called White Knights,
Yeah.
which is
That's
so
fucking.
fucked up.
Yeah.
Um, so listen to this shit. So Jim would call, quote, alert, 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 over the community loudspeaker to call a community together in the central pavilion. Armed guards with guns and crossbows surrounded the pavilion.
Ugh.
The community members would remain at the pavilion throughout the drill, in which Jones told them that their community had been surrounded by agents who were about to destroy them. Jim led them in prayers, chanting, and singing to ward off the impending attack. Sometimes he would have his guards hide in the forest and shoot their firearms to simulate an attack.
My God.
Jim's terrified followers were only told they were participating in a drill when the event was over. One drill in September of 77 lasted for 6 days,
Holy shit.
known as the 6-day siege. This ordeal was used thereafter by Jones as a symbol of the community's indomitable spirit. So the drills basically served to keep the members of Jonestown fearful of venturing outside of the commune. So
Yeah.
he was starting to brainwash them.
Of course. 6
Well,
days to do that?
yeah,
Holy
that's
shit.
insane. Yeah, just to fuck with them. And of course, his own paranoia, right?
Yeah, what a fucking psychopath.
Oh yeah. Following 2 visits by United States Embassy personnel to check on the situation at Jonestown and an IRS investigation in early 78, Jim became increasingly convinced that the attack he feared was imminent.
Yeah.
Paranoid as shit.
Yep.
So in one 78 night white night drill, Jim told his followers he was going to distribute poison for everyone to drink in an act of suicide. A
Oh my
batch of
God.
fruit punch was served to everyone in the pavilion who sat by weeping and waiting for their death.
Aw.
After some time passed, Jim informed he informed his followers that it was only a drill and there was not any position in their any poison in their drink.
Like,
So,
why? Why?
yeah, isn't that fucked up? Like, he's just fucking with their heads. What a
That is
sin.
so fucking crazy.
Hmm.
Like, why would you drink? Like, I just don't understand.
Oh, I know, it's gross. That's kind of fucked up. Again, like, that's just going back to him having power over people. And I bet that got him off.
Big time. What a
So,
fucking weirdo.
yeah. So through the White Knights, Jim convinced his followers that the Central Intelligence Agency, which is the CIA, was actively working to destroy their community and conditioned them to accept suicide as a means of escape.
Wow.
So, on the last two occasions during White Nights, after a revolutionary suicide vote was reached, a simulated mass suicide was rehearsed. Temple defector Deborah Layton described the event in an affidavit which read, "Everyone, including the children, was told to line up. As we passed through the line, we were all given small glass of red liquid to drink. We were told that the liquid contained poison and that we would die within 45 minutes.
Ugh.
We all did as we were told. When the time came when we should have dropped dead, Rev Jones explained that the poison was not real and that we had just been through a loyalty test. He
Ugh.
warned us that the time was not far off when it would become necessary for us to die by our own hands." End quote.
God damn.
That is scary as shit.
That
And the
is
amount of kids
very
that were there
fucking
too.
scary.
Like if
Yeah.
it were me and I had my son, okay, getting into a cult, sure, you could be persuaded, whatever, right?
Yeah.
I can understand that. That's fine. But when it comes to like knowing that that was coming because he was throwing drills at them saying that they were
Yeah.
drinking fucking poison and they were
Poison.
doing it and giving it to their kids.
Yeah. No way.
No, nope,
No.
nope, 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 nope. I would have to find a way to escape.
Well, yeah. Like, what the fuck? Like, you're gonna kill the kids too? Like, I don't
Yeah,
understand.
that's fucked up.
Like, why? What's the fucking purpose of that?
Eh, he's rotting in hell right now, so whatever. Anyway,
Yeah.
so the situation at Jonestown was deteriorating in 78. The community was exhausted and overworked. Most were required to perform manual labor from early morning until evening. Loudspeakers were installed around Jonestown, and sermons were played on a constant loop for the entire community to listen to.
Yeah. That would just drive me fucking up the wall.
You know what I thought of when I read that?
Huh.
Um, Asylum.
Yeah.
Fucking what's it called? American Horror Story
Yeah.
Asylum. When they
Yeah.
played the same song over and
Yeah.
over.
Yeah.
If you weren't fucking crazy when you came in, you
You're
are now.
fucking right. That fucking French song.
Oh
Ding,
god.
ding, 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 ding.
Yeah, no, that would drive me
Just
insane.
watching that fucking show and listening to that song like 10 times, I'm like, I'll fucking kill everybody in this house.
Well, that's what
Like,
I'm saying. If you weren't crazy when you came in, you
yeah.
fucking are now.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Mm.
Jim began to propagate his belief in what he termed translation once his followers settled in Jonestown, claiming that he and his followers would all die and live blissfully together in the afterlife.
Yeah, no.
Meals were meager and workers were often hungry. After spending all day working, the community gathered each evening at the central pavilion to listen to Jones preach. His
Ugh,
sermons generally lasted for several hours.
no thanks.
Most of the community was sleep deprived. According to Terry Buford O'Shea, one of the few escapees from Jonestown, sleep deprivation was one of the most effective methods of controlling Jim's followers.
Yeah.
Yeah. O'Shea said that One time Jim said to me, let's keep them poor and tired because if they're poor, they can't escape. And if they're tired, they can't make plans. O'Shea also reported that Jones would maintain his control of People's Temple members using punishments such as keeping them in a coffin shaped box
No thanks.
several feet underground, while other members were assigned to constantly berate and reprimand them for their perceived slights against the cult.
Wow.
That's fucked up.
That's very
You
fucked.
put them in a coffin shaped box down in the ground? Like, what?
Yeah, that's fucking beyond twisted, dude.
Oh, that's insane.
Yeah.
Terrifying. And yet people stayed. Like, they weren't fighting back.
Yeah.
Oh, dear God. So the majority of the community members were minors, or the elderly. The fewer people of working age found it difficult to keep up with the workload required to support the community. Healthcare, education, and food rations were all in limited supply, and the situation was worsening.
Yeah.
Jim's orders were increasingly erratic. He was seen staggering and urinating in public, but this was
Ew.
due to prostatitis for a short time towards the end of Jonestown in late October of 78. Not the entirety of Jonestown. He found it difficult to work without assistance around this time, but it cleared up by Leo Ryan's visit. Uh, After learning that he might have a lung infection in 78, Jim told his followers that he actually had lung cancer in an effort to gain their compassion and increase their level of support. What a dick.
Yeah.
Jim was said to be abusing Valium, Quaaludes, stimulants, and barbiturates.
Yeah.
Quaaludes. I heard those were fucking insane.
Yeah.
It makes me think of The Wolf on Wall Street.
Right? You know what's fucking funny too is right when you said that, I just pictured like Leonardo DiCaprio
Me too.
crawling to the Ferrari. Oh,
Driving
fuck.
his helicopter home all fucked up, right?
Yeah. What the fuck?
Okay. Audio recordings of meetings held in Jonestown in 1978 attest to the commune leaders' deteriorating health. Jim complained of high blood pressure that he had since the early 1950s, small strokes, weight loss of 30 to 40 pounds in the last 2 weeks of Jonestown, temporary blindness, convulsions, and in late October to early November of 78, while he was ill in his cabin, grotesque swelling of the extremities.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. So here we go. We're going to get to the mass murder suicide in Jonestown. Which this makes me really sad, but let's get through it.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to ask you right now, have you ever heard of the Jonestown death tape?
Yes, I have.
It's horrendous.
Have you heard it?
I started to listen to it, and then I figured before I got all the way through it, it wouldn't be a good idea.
You can hear kids crying and shit.
Yeah, you can hear some messed up shit. So
I don't like it at all.
I
The minute that you
can't.
start hearing kids, and I'm like, fuck that shit.
Yeah, so that's why I
No.
figured I didn't really want to finish it.
No.
But for any of you sick fucks out there that want to listen to it, you can look it up. It's called People's Temple Death Tape.
Yeah.
Just
I couldn't.
be
I heard
warned.
some of it, but I couldn't get through
me
it.
too. Just be warned. It's just sad.
Yeah.
So
Like kids are, and you can hear people like begging for their lives and shit.
oh yeah,
Yeah. It's hard. It's a hard one. It's hard.
it's
It's
hard.
a fucking hard one.
It's a
Yeah.
hardy. So
Yeah.
okay.
Kids, man. Kids are my fucking sensitive area.
Mine too.
Fuck,
Kids
man.
and animals.
Yeah. Kids and animals, but kids are my fucking soft area, man.
It's so
But
fucked up. Like if I watch like horror movies, I can literally watch people get like chopped into
yeah.
pieces or like killed like horribly, and I'd be fine. But the second like a child or animal is involved,
Yeah.
I will break down and cry.
Like the most um the horror movie that fucking sticks in my mind for the rest of my life, Pet Cemetery.
I knew you were gonna say that.
When the fucking
I
kid
knew it
when
because
the
the
kid gets
animals
hit,
and the kid.
oh my god, like that shit, like, and
Mom,
I'm
that one hit hard for mom
do you
too.
remember
Yeah,
anytime we watched Pet Cemetery, mom would cry at
yeah,
that scene.
yeah.
She's like, "That's just horrible."
I
Like,
could never imagine. I could not imagine.
no.
My life would be over.
Yeah,
My life would
yeah.
be over. So
Well, you see any kid, not just your kid,
no, I know.
like any fucking kid. If you see a kid get hurt like that,
Yeah.
you're never gonna be the same.
Did you do you so apparently today is our grandfather's birthday, by the way.
It is. Yeah.
And did you hear how grandpa saved my life when I was a child in Florida? You know about this, right?
No.
Yes. So we took the Winnebago down to Florida, and right after we kind of got out, I was young, and
I
I
do
ran
remember this. Yeah, I heard
everywhere.
this. I
And
don't
I
remember it.
started running towards the road,
Yeah,
and
and he grabbed your ponytail.
I had long hair, and grandpa grabbed my ponytail,
Yeah,
and
because
right
he
at the
saw you
same
fucking running for the road.
for the road, and at the same time, a fucking 18-wheeler was barreling down the road.
Yeah, I remember hearing about this, actually. I do
Yeah,
remember.
yeah, that's
And
terrifying.
yeah, yeah, grandpa, because you're
If it
fucking
weren't for him, I might not be here.
I remember mom saying, like, your hair was, like, like, flat behind you because you were running so fast,
Yeah,
and he literally, like, ran and just grabbed you by the fucking ponytail and
yeah,
just pulled you back.
yeah.
I do remember hearing about that.
I was such a little shithead too.
Yes, you were. You still are a little fucking shithead.
Yeah, whatever. All right.
Deny it. Deny it.
I'm not. I'm not. That's
You're
why I said
you're
whatever.
not you're not gonna deny it or you're not a shithead.
I'm not denying it.
Okay, don't deny it because you're a fucking shithead.
I can be.
No, you are a fucking shithead.
Whatever.
We love you though.
I know. Okay. So let's get into it. The mass murder suicide in Jonestown.
Sorry.
Okay, November 18th, 1978. Jim received word that his security guards failed to kill all of Ryan's party. So this was a congressman.
Yeah. You didn't say what happened with that, did you?
Do you want me to get into that?
Well, yeah, you gotta
Okay.
tell.
All right, let's get into the murder of Congressman Ryan before we get into the mass suicide.
Yeah, because that's what fucking kick started it all.
Okay, so let's do it. So in November of 1978, Congressman Ryan led a fact-finding mission to Jonestown to investigate allegations of human rights abuses. His delegation, including relatives of Temple members, an NBC camera crew, and reporters for several newspapers. The group arrived in the Guyanese capital of Georgetown on November 15th. 2 days later, they traveled by airplane to Port Kaituma, then were transported to Jonestown. Jim hosted a reception for the delegation that evening at the Central Pavilion in Jonestown, during which Temple member Vernon Gosney passed a note meant for Orion to NBC reporter Don Harris, requesting assistance for himself and another Temple member, Monica Begbie, in leaving the settlement. Tensions began to rise as news spread through the community that some members were attempting to leave. Uh-oh. Ryan's delegation left hurriedly the afternoon of November 18th after Ryan narrowly avoided being stabbed by Temple member Don Sly.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Yeah.
See, so people are trying to get the fuck out of there.
Yeah. 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 They knew shit was going to go down.
Yeah, and especially, hey, drink this Kool-Aid.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is the shit that's going down. People are like, let's get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. I guess they were finally coming to their senses, right?
Yeah.
So, so Ryan and his delegation managed to take along 15 temple members who expressed a desire to leave. Jim made no attempt to prevent their departure at that time.
Mm-hmm.
Marceline Jones, announced to the public address systems that everything was okay and urged locals to go back to their houses after Ryan left Jonestown for Port Kaituma.
Mm-hmm.
During this time, 80s prepared a large metal tub with grape flavored aid, poisoned with, oh my God, these are big words.
It
Oh
was
my God.
cyanide.
Yep, yes. Essentially, it was, yeah, cyanide. There was
So
like
here's the thing
diazepam in
too.
there, and
Here's the
yeah,
thing too, okay? It wasn't fucking Kool-Aid. Everybody says don't drink the Kool-Aid.
I know.
It
Yeah,
was not Kool-Aid. It was
no,
Flavor Aid.
yeah, yeah. But everybody says, it's the same thing as fucking Kool Aid, so don't drink the Kool Aid. Well,
Yeah.
same shit.
It was the knockoff version.
It pretty much, right? So
Yep.
as members of Ryan's delegation boarded two planes at the Port Kaituma airstrip, Jonestown Red Brigade of armed guards arrived and began shooting at them.
Yep.
The gunmen killed Ryan and four others near a Guyana Airway Twin Otter aircraft. At the same time, one of the supposed defectors, Larry Layton, drew a weapon and began firing on members of the party inside the other plane, uh, a Cessna,
Mm-hmm.
which included Gosney and Bagby. NBC cameraman Bob Brown was able to capture footage of the first few seconds of the shooting at the Otter just before he himself was killed by the gunman.
Yep.
The five killed at the airstrip were Ryan Harris Brown, San Francisco Examiner photographer Greg Robinson, and Temple member Patricia Parks.
Mm-hmm.
Surviving the attack were future Congresswoman Jackie Spear, a Ryan staff member Richard Wire, Deputy Chief of Mission from the U.S. Embassy in Georgetown, Bob Flick, an NBC producer, Steve Sung, an NBC sound engineer, Tim Reederman, an Examiner reporter, Ron Javers, a
Mm-hmm.
Chronicle reporter, Charles Krause, a Washington Post reporter, and several defecting temple members. They escaped into the jungle to avoid being killed.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we've gotten through that.
Yep.
Now we're going to get through the mass murder suicide in Jonestown.
Yep. Because
So
now
later,
shit is going down.
yeah. So now he realizes, shit, I just got fucked.
Yep.
We all got, this is no longer a drill. No longer gonna be a drill.
Nope.
So later the same day on November 18th, 1978, Jim received word that his security guards failed to kill all of Ryan's party. Jones concluded the escapees would soon inform the United States of the attack and they would send the military to seize Jonestown. Jim called the entire community to the Central Pavilion. He informed the community that Ryan was dead, and it was only a matter of time before military commandos descended on their commune and killed them all.
Mm-hmm.
Jones told Temple members that the Soviet Union would not give them passage after the airstrip shooting. Jim said that we can check with Russia to see if they'll take us in immediately, otherwise we die. Asking, you think Russia's going to want us with all this stigma?
Hmm.
With that reasoning, Jim and several members argued the group should commit revolutionary suicide. Jim recorded the entire death ritual on an audio tape. One temple member, Christine Miller, descended towards the beginning of the tape. Cries and screams of children and adults were also easily heard on the tape recording made.
Horrible.
Fuck my life. Yeah, see, that's why I can't. I already knew that it was going to be on there, and I was like, I can't get through it.
No.
The temple had received monthly half-pound shipments of cyanide since 1976 after Jim
Fucking what reason?
So listen to this. So after Jim obtained a jeweler's license to buy the chemical, purportedly to clean gold.
Oh my God.
Isn't that fucked up?
Yeah.
So in 1978 of May, a temple doctor wrote a memo to Jim asking permission to test cyanide on Jonestown's pigs, as
Ugh.
their metabolism was close to that of a human being. A drink mixture of Flavor Aid, not Kool-Aid, and cyanide was was handed out to the members of the community to drink. Those who refused to drink were injected with cyanide via syringe.
Oh my god.
The crowd was also surrounded by armed guards, offering members the basic dilemma of death by poison or death by guard's hand. That's terrifying.
Yeah, that's oh, I got such a bad mental image.
And on that note, I am gonna just take a quick drink.
Yeah, I kind of wish I had some alcohol around me right now.
Yeah, man.
I
Okay.
might have to have a fucking stiff drink after this.
Right? So fucked up. Those
Yeah,
times, oh, I don't know, man. It's just really fucked up.
yeah.
And think our parents were alive for this.
Yep. Yep. Dad was 20.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so crazy, eh?
Yeah. We weren't
Okay.
we weren't far off either.
Yeah. Well, about 10 years off.
Who was it, 78?
78. I was 9 years off for me.
Yeah, I was 10 years off.
Yeah. But even still, that's just either way. Okay, so Roletta Paul and her 1-year-old child were the first to consume the poison.
Huh.
According to Escape Temple member Odell Rhodes, the child's mouth was filled with poison using a syringe without a needle,
Oh.
and Paul then injected more poison into her own mouth. According to Rhodes, after ingesting the poison, people were taken down to a wooden walkway that led outside the pavilion. As parents, oh, this is hard. Okay, as parents watched their children perish from the poison, Rhodes described a scene of panic and confusion.
Oh.
He added that many of the assembled temple members walked around like they were in a trance, and that the majority quietly waited for their own turn to die. Over time, as more temple members perished, the guards themselves were called in to die by poison. It is not clear if some initially thought the exercise was another White Night rehearsal. When members wept and showed signs of dissent, Jones counseled, "Stop these hysterics. This is not the way for people who are socialists or communists to die. No way for us to die. We must die with them. We must die with some dignity."
Ugh.
Jones can be heard saying, quote, "Don't be afraid to die," end quote, adding that death is, quote, "just stepping over into another plane," end quote, and adding that death is a friend. Ugh.
That
Jones,
is so fucking gross.
yeah. Ugh.
Yeah, that's so gross. Like, you're killing kids, man. What the fuck is wrong with you
Well,
people?
a bunch of innocent lives. Like,
Yeah, but you know what? Kids are the most innocent because the adults at least fucking comprehend what's going on.
mhm.
You know what I mean? Like adults kind of understand,
Kids
you
just,
know?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
little kids don't fucking understand.
Ah, you're gonna hate this shit then.
Yeah, I already know I'm not gonna like it. Fucking god damn it. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry, dude, but Jim directed that the children be killed first.
Yeah, I know, because he knew
Yeah. What a
that
piece of shit.
yeah, he's a fucking asshole.
Um, okay. So then the other adults poisoned themselves after the children had died. At the end of the tape, Jim concludes, "We didn't commit suicide. We committed an act of revolutionary suicide protesting the conditions of an inhumane world." In the early evening of November 18th, Temple member Sharon Amos in Georgetown received a radio message from Jonestown telling the members there to exact vengeance on the Temple's foes before committing revolutionary suicide. Later, after police arrived at the headquarters, Sharon escorted her children, Leanne, Krista, and Martin, into a bathroom. Wielding a kitchen knife, Sharon first killed Krista and then Martin. Then Leanne assisted Sharon in cutting her own throat, after which Leanne killed herself. That's fucked up.
Yeah, I don't like it. No
85
bueno.
members of the community survived the event. Some slipped into the jungle just as the death ritual began. One man hid in a ditch. One elderly woman hid in her dormitory and slept through the event, awaking to find everyone dead.
God.
3 high-ranking temple members were given an assignment to transfer the People's Temple's funds to the Soviet embassy and thereby escaped death. One of them, Michael Prokes, would commit suicide 4 months later during a press conference in which he the People's Temple leadership p- uh, position, justifying the mass murder suicide and blaming it on the United States government. Jonestown basketball team was away at a game and survived. Others hid in dormitories or were away from the community on ritual unfolded.
Jesus Christ.
So survivor Tim Carter has suggested that, like a previous practice, that day's lunch of grilled cheese sandwiches may have been tainted with sedatives to subdue members of the cult. Furthermore, in a 2007 interview, with forensic psychiatrist Dr. Michael H. Stone for the program Most Evil, Carter stated his belief that Jones had his guards pose the dead bodies of the Jonestown residents to make it appear that more people had willingly committed suicide.
Mm-hmm.
The mass murder suicide resulted in the deaths of 909 inhabitants of Jonestown. Two, 276 of them were children.
Oh my God.
Mostly in and around the Central Pavilion. This resulted in the greatest single loss of American civilian life in a deliberate act until the attacks of 9/11.
Yeah.
Another 4 members residing in Georgetown died. The FBI later recovered the 45-minute audio recording of the mass poisoning in progress. The recording became known as the death tape. Okay, so here we're going to talk about the death and aftermath real quick. So Jim's 3 sons, Stephen, Jim Jr., and Tim Jones, were with the People's Temple basketball team in Georgetown at the time of the mass poisoning. During the events at Jonestown, the 3 brothers drove to the U.S. Embassy in Georgetown to alert the authorities. Guyanese soldiers guarding the embassy refused to let them in after hearing about the shootings at the Port Kaituma airstrip.
Yeah.
Later, the 3 returned to the temple's headquarters in Georgetown to find the bodies of Sharon, Amos, and their 3 children, Leanne, Krista, and Martin.
Jesus.
Guyanese military arrived in Jonestown to find the dead. The United States military organized an airlift to bring the remains back to the United States to be buried. Jim was found dead on the stage of the Central Pavilion. He was resting on a pillow near his deck chair with a gunshot wound to
Yeah.
his head. So, yeah, he killed himself with gunshot.
Yeah, because he was too fucking pussy to
Yeah.
kill himself with cyanide.
What
Because he saw how the people were dying,
Yeah.
you
And
know?
they're
And
just
he was
waiting
a
there to die. At least with a gunshot, he figured it was quick and easy, right?
bastard.
Yeah, really. Jim's body was later moved for examination and embalming. The official autopsy conducted by Guyanese coroner Cyril Mutu in December of 1978 confirmed Jim's cause of death as suicide. His son Stephen speculated that his father may have directed someone else to shoot him. The autopsy showed high levels of the barbiturate pentobarbital
Mm-hmm.
in Jones's body, which may have been lethal to humans who had not developed physiological tolerance. Jim's body was cremated, and his remains were scattered in the Atlantic Ocean. Guyanese soldiers kept the Jones brothers under house arrest for 5 days, interrogating them about the deaths in Georgetown. Stephen was accused of involvement in the deaths and placed in a Guyanese prison for 3 months. Tim and Johnny Cobb, other members of the Temple basketball team, were taken to Jonestown to identify bodies.
Jesus.
Yeah, after returning to the U.S., Jim Jones Jr. was placed under police surveillance for 7 months while he lived with his older sister, Suzanne, who had previously turned against the Temple. John Mc-
Do you know how long before people like showed up after the death?
Oh, no, I
Okay.
don't. I'm not sure how long. I'm assuming that it wasn't that long,
Have you seen
obviously.
the pictures?
Yeah.
So I was just looking at some of the pictures, and the bodies look really bloated.
Yeah.
So they might have been there for a little bit.
Well, yeah, like that's 909 people, dude.
Ugh.
You got to think about that. Like imagine don't imagine it. Just
No. Imagine the fucking smell, bro.
oh yeah. Oh
Like
yeah.
some of the bodies look very like puffy. And I'm like, oh man, they might have been sitting there for a while.
Yeah. Yeah.
God damn it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is a haunted motherfucking place, dude.
Yeah.
I wonder if people go there and
You
fucking
know,
like
I
have
never thought about that. I
like
never thought about that. That's probably a fucking a hot spot, eh?
big time. I can imagine. I would never in a fucking million years go there
I
ever.
wonder, like, as sad as this may be, but I wonder if that's like a tourist
I,
attraction
I
there.
I hope not.
Well, you got to think about it with large tragedies,
Yeah. Dark tourism, man.
dark tourism. Exactly.
Trust me. I went to fucking Ground Zero. You know what's fucked up? I wonder how quiet it is there.
Yeah.
Because you know what I noticed about like tragic spots that I've been to?
Yeah.
It's eerily quiet
Yeah.
in
When you
those
went to Ground
places.
Zero
New
in New
York City
York.
is fucking loud, bro.
Yeah.
New York City, everywhere you go in New York City is loud. When you go to Ground Zero, it is very quiet there. And I looked
Yes.
at Mikey and I said, "How eerie." And he goes, "What?" And I'm like, "This whole time that we've been in New York, have you heard this amount of quiet?" And he goes, "Yeah, no."
Yeah.
And you're in Lower Manhattan. Like it is busy as fuck down there.
Yeah.
Very quiet. So I could
Yeah.
just imagine what this place is like.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, that's true.
I would never go there.
No. No. I don't think I could go there. That's really
Mm-mm.
fucked up.
Mm-mm.
Okay. So John Victor Stone died in Jonestown. His body was found just outside of Jim's house. Um, in a signed note found at the time of her death, Marceline directed that Jim's assets be given to the Communist Party of the Soviet Union. The People's Temple secretary had already made arrangements for 7.3 million, which is 29 million dollars in today,
Jesus.
in temple funds to be transferred to the Soviet embassy in Guyana. Most of the money was held in foreign bank accounts and was transferred electronically. But $680,000, which is now 2.9 mil,
Mm-hmm.
was held in cash, and 3 couriers were hired to transport the cash to the Soviets. Couriers were arrested before reaching their destination and claimed to have hidden most of the money.
Wow.
Isn't that fucked up?
Yeah, it's fucked up.
Yeah. Um, there is still, there's still, excuse me, lots after the fact. So, I mean, do we want to get into it? Like, there's the reactions and the legacy.
Uh, if you want, we're already at 102 minutes.
Okay.
It's up to you.
So
Sure.
if anybody wants to look into it, you could definitely look it up. I find it really fucked up. I'm not one for politics, but this
No.
one kind of
Yeah.
there was a lot of politics in this one.
Yeah. And a lot of fucking church.
Yes. I knew you would love it. You
Oh my
loved it,
god.
didn't you, Mel?
No. I just tried to stay quiet for most of it because I don't really want to offend people too much.
No, I know.
I don't mean to offend. It's
I know
just
you don't.
I love everybody. Doesn't
Yeah.
matter. Doesn't matter what religion or whatever. Bisexual, transgender, I don't care. I love everybody. I
Yeah.
just have my own beliefs and sometimes I feel like I offend people.
No, you
Like
know what?
we're going to Florida and dad says to me, he goes, "Mel, things you don't talk about down here is religion and politics."
Yeah.
he has
Yeah.
to say he has to warn me because I don't know. Sometimes I don't have a fucking filter. I
You
get
don't
it.
have a filter.
I don't have a fucking filter.
You
And
don't.
I
And
understand it offends people. I get it, and I apologize for that. It's
you don't
just
need to apologize. It is your opinion.
yeah.
Okay? This is how you feel about things.
I
It's
just
not
don't
like
like
you're
to
telling
offend
people
people.
not to believe in God
Yeah,
or
no.
don't have a faith, okay? It's
Yeah,
not like
no.
you're saying that.
But you
So,
know what
it's
I
fine.
find? Like whenever we get into like the religion talk with me, it's like people want to know how I
Yeah.
feel about it. And I'm like, here we fucking go.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. The
Mikey
debate
fucking
starts.
elbows me. Shut up.
Yeah.
Like I said before, like we go when my niece or nephew was like confirmed or whatever, and I have to go to the church and sit there, and I do it, and I have respect. But the
Yeah.
minute that it's over, I'm like, I go and kiss my niece or nephew, and I'm like, see you later.
Yeah. Get me out of here.
Get me the fuck out.
Yeah.
Liz's boyfriend goes, well, at least the holy water didn't start boiling.
When I went to my ex's daughter's confirmation, that was the only time I had ever been to a confirmation. I felt so fucking out of place there.
Yeah, yeah,
And I thought that I was going to burst into flames.
yeah.
So, I know
Like
how
Mikey's been the sponsor a few times for like a
yeah.
like niece and nephew and a niece, right?
Yeah.
So it's like I've had to sit there and kind of
Yeah.
be
Just
nice,
just
and I
deal with
am.
it. Just go through the steps.
I do, but it's like I'm not there at all.
Yeah.
I'm somewhere. I'm looking up at the
But you
fucking
know what's so fucked
Jesus
up
on the
though?
cross, freaking out a little.
Yeah. You know what's really fucked up though? I think churches are beautiful.
Churches are beautiful.
I think
Like
churches are gorgeous, and
mm,
there's some Gothic churches that I really, really
Sarah,
wanna go to.
Sarah, we went to fucking when we were in New York City, we went to St. Patrick's Cathedral.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Bro,
remember you
I
video
was
called me
yeah, I was like almost in
in
tears
awe. Yeah, it's gorgeous.
because it's
It's gorgeous.
beautiful. And
Oh, yeah.
I'm standing on like um what is Fifth Avenue or whatever? I
Yeah.
don't know. I'm standing on Fifth Avenue and it's right there, right? And I'm looking at it and I'm like, what a beautiful building for the amount of bullshit that they talk inside.
Yeah.
Mikey's like, Melissa.
Jesus.
And I'm like, oh fuck, I said that kind of loud. I was like, I'm so sorry. I'm like,
Whoops.
I didn't even mean for it to like come out like that, right?
That kinda just slipped out.
And I was like, fuck. He's like, don't say anything like that inside. I was like, I won't. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said that. But it's
Yeah.
true. Like, what a beautiful building,
They are. I
you
find
know?
churches gorgeous.
Gorgeous.
I love
Mom
churches.
was like that too. We used to go in churches all the time when we were younger.
Yep. Yep.
Remember? And mom would be like, look at how beautiful it is in here. Like,
Yeah.
you might not want to sit and listen to like what the priest or whatever is talking about. That's fine. But you still have to marvel the beauty of the
Oh,
place.
yeah.
And I said, exact like I love it. I think it's so pretty.
Yeah. I do. I do. I
Yeah.
find it very, very pretty. So,
Very pretty. And, people are in there and they're praying and stuff. And I just have respect. And like even
yeah.
in St. Patrick's Cathedral, like there was a room off near the front of the church, like the back of the church. And there was a lady in there praying. And I wanted to go up and see, but I was like, no, no, no. Like she's
Yeah.
in there praying. I'm gonna respect that. And
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
gently walk away. And
Yep.
everybody did. Like the woman was in there. You could tell something was going on with her because she was crying and she was praying. And
Yeah.
so I
Mm,
was like, you know what? I'm going to respect that and I'm going
that's
to
right.
walk away and let
Yeah.
her have her moment. Cause I would have loved to go up because there was some beautiful statues in there.
Yeah.
And
I
the
love that
stained
shit.
glass was incredible.
Yeah, I love
Incredible.
that stuff. There's
You know?
there's some I think it's in Germany.
Yes. It's
There's
all black.
oh
Yeah.
my god. I would love to go see that.
Yeah, I would too. I
And
would too.
they're huge and they're like
Beautiful.
Gothic churches and it's just stunning.
Yeah, gorgeous.
I want to go so bad.
You know that church that's down, I think it's an Anglican church. It's the one across from the museum.
Yeah.
Remember when we saw that big fucking rat out
Yes.
front? Okay,
Yeah.
that church has been there since like the
That's
early
right.
1800s.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I knew
And
that.
I'm like, what a beautiful,
Yeah.
beautiful building. Like
Yep.
it's just gorgeous and I love it so much.
Yeah, I know. I love that shit
Like
too.
big churches. We have a church here in my town, and it's brand new. Like, it's the church that they all use, like, when my niece and nephew were confirmation and all that
Yep.
shit, right?
Yep.
We go in it, and it's gorgeous. Like,
Yeah.
Aiden, we're sitting there, me and Aiden, and he was like, how nice would it be if all these windows were stained glass? And I'm like, you
Yeah.
are right. I'm
Yeah.
like, it's just beautiful. Like,
Yeah.
I
I
understand why it brings people such peace. Like, it
Yeah.
really is such a beautiful building,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. I could see that too.
I
I
like it.
understand it.
Yep, I do too. I totally understand why people love it and everything. I just
Yep.
what do they call it? I'm like a agnostic atheist.
Yeah. To each their own.
What I am is I would love to believe in something. I really would. I would
You just
love
need
to
the
believe,
evidence.
but I don't see evidence, and I just think that it's a lot of stories, and
Yeah.
it's just a
Well,
way to control people.
in fairness, a lot of the fucking stories in the Bible are very far fetched.
Very outlandish.
Yeah.
Very
So,
outlandish.
but like I said, everybody has their own beliefs.
Yeah, and
I
that's
believe in something, but I
you ever
don't
see
necessarily believe that there's a God.
what's his name? Ricky Gervais?
Okay.
You ever see what he says? He says, "Hey, there's, who is he talking to? Stephen Colbert or whatever?" And he was
Okay.
like, "There's about 3,000 gods that humans
Yeah,
believe in on the planet,
that's
right?" And
right.
he goes, "How many do you believe in?" And Stephen Colbert goes, "Well, one, like I believe in one." He goes, "Okay, so I don't believe in one more than you.
Yep.
Okay, you don't believe in 2,999 gods,
Yep.
right?" He goes, "Well, yeah, I believe in one God." He goes, "Okay,
Yeah.
I don't believe in 3,000."
Yeah.
Okay. He goes, "So if you don't believe in 2,999 gods, what
Yeah.
makes your God right than any other God that's on the planet?"
Yep. And that's a good point.
And I said, "Fucking true." He goes, "If you can show me tangible evidence that is true, I will believe." And I
Yeah.
feel that way too. I am totally, and I'm like, if I do die and I find out that there is a God, I will say, okay, my apologies. Like,
Yeah.
if you could prove to me that there is a God, I will believe, you know?
Well, I've had a near death experience.
Yeah, and like I said to you before, if you feel like you want to believe and you had your near death experience and you were out of body and you saw something,
I did.
well,
I didn't
I'm
see a God per se. Okay. I will say that. I did not see a God.
yeah.
However, however, I did see something.
Well, and I'm so happy for you. I've never experienced that. So,
Yep. Yeah. And I
yep.
was I was there. And you know what's really fucked up though? I
Mhm.
felt so like at peace,
Yeah.
and I felt so like at home. And then when I was brought back, I was upset.
Yeah.
I
I
was
remember you
upset.
telling me about that.
I was. And all I remember seeing is white, and then I see shadows of figures of people surrounding me.
Yeah. Remember mom right before she died?
Yeah.
Mom was like in like a comatose state or whatever the whole day.
Yes. Yeah.
And then she sat straight up.
Yeah.
And you, Ryan, and Ryan's fucking sister
Yeah.
were all there. And she sat straight up, looked up, and she went, "Oh, hi, mom."
Yeah. She's
And
taking her
grandma
home.
died like 8 years before mom.
Yeah.
And it was like, I looked over at you and I was like, "Oh, dude, she's gonna die."
She's going.
I knew
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
She fucking
And
saw something. And I've heard of shit like that before,
yeah.
you
Oh
know?
yeah. Well, that's why like when I'm at work, okay, and I have residents that will call and say, there's a little girl
Yeah.
in my room,
Yes.
or I see my dead sister
Yep.
in my room, and I'm like, please don't die.
Yeah.
Please
Yeah.
don't die.
I had a woman in my home where like the rooms, it's like a hospital. So the rooms
Yeah.
are right across from each other and the doors are open. There's no locks on the door or anything.
Yeah.
And she's sitting in the doorway and she goes, "Do you see that little boy over there?" And I said,
Absolutely not. See you.
"Pardon?"
Bye. Peace.
"There's a little boy. There's a little boy in
Yeah.
that room." Do you remember I told you about it?
Yes.
And I'm like, no, please don't say that.
Yeah, no.
And she died not long after that.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
I was like, holy fuck, she was seeing shit. Like,
Yeah.
and I was like,
Well,
I don't see a little boy. I don't see a little
yeah.
boy.
There was a woman that we had, and she had full delirium, and she got moved to long-term care. But at first, she kept calling me constantly and telling me that there was a little girl.
Mm,
And I was like, "Oh, please don't do this to me."
mm-mm.
And she like, to the point where, like, I was getting calls from her constantly, and I was going up and investigating because she's like, "I need you to come up here." And I'd be like, "Oh, I don't wanna do this," but I
No.
would, and there was nobody up there, of course. And she got moved to long-term care, but,
Yeah.
when I hear stuff like that, right away, I think, "Oh, fuck.
Yep. Yep.
Please don't die."
Fucking scary, dude. And it's
Yeah.
so mysterious. So who knows? Do I
You
believe
never
in
know.
ghosts? Yes, I do because I've experienced shit.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I've actively fucking experienced shit. So do I believe in it? Yes, I do because
Yeah.
I have fucking witnessed it.
I have firsthand too.
You know what I mean? So if I can fucking see it with my own eyes, I will believe it.
Yeah.
And that's just I don't know, that's how I am.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to talk shit about
Other
stuff, but
religions.
bad
Yeah.
people are in the fucking church,
Yeah.
okay? And they do bad fucking things. And I think that that's fucked up.
Yeah.
And it has nothing against like the actual religion. It's just it's about fucking people following in the name of God and doing fucked up
Yeah.
shit. You
More
know,
people
like
have died in the name of God than anything else.
that's what I
So,
mean. Like you're fucking like even like terrorists and shit. They're doing it in the name of God. And it's like, don't do that.
yeah.
Don't do that. If God is real and everything, he does not want you to do that.
No, I know.
Like,
Well,
don't do that.
that's a whole other subject I'm not gonna get into right now.
No. I'm sure eventually we're gonna do 9/11.
Yeah. At
I'm
some
sure
point.
of it. That shit's fucked. And it fucking makes me cry every time I think about it.
Yeah. Yeah. It
You know
does.
what I mean?
So,
Ruin my birthday for the rest of my life.
I know.
But that's not I can't say anything because 3,000 fucking people died.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I stood on ground zero and I fucking sat there and I looked at Mikey and I said 3,000 fucking people died right here.
Yeah.
Like it is a humbling feeling to be standing somewhere like that and you're like,
Yeah.
"Holy shit." Like
Yeah.
human life is so fucking precious and when you're thinking about stuff like that, you're like, "Holy shit."
Yeah.
So,
Fucked up.
anyways, we're at like 2 hours, dude.
Oh, all right. Well, I should probably go start getting ready for my date night.
Yeah, I should go and cook because apparently I need to feed my family.
All right. Well, I'm glad we got through the story.
We
Thank
did
you for good conversation.
always.
If anybody has anything that they would like to suggest,
Yeah.
please don't hesitate to give us a shout out or email, comment, anything.
Yeah, hit us
Um,
up on Instagram.
yep, Facebook. I have a page on Facebook. We are on obviously Spotify
We are on
and
Audible, Amazon
Audible,
Music,
Amazon
Apple
Music,
Podcast.
Apple
I'm
Podcasts.
trying to get on Pocket Casts. I haven't got
Oh,
back from them yet, but I'm
okay.
trying new ones now.
Very nice.
So,
And yeah, I'm still gonna try to figure out the YouTube situation, but as of right now, I'm not having much luck.
yeah,
So
it's all good.
my iPad hates me apparently.
No, it's all good.
So
I'll
uh
have to make some YouTube videos. So,
yeah, for just for the time being
it's
until
all
we can
good.
figure it out.
All good, my
So
darling.
anyways, thank you for everything, Mel. Love you lots.
Thank you for telling me a good story. A
Yes,
horrible
ma'am.
story, but a good one.
And tune in on Sunday for our next story.
And it's mine.
And it's yours.
And I'm not even going to tell you what it's about
I knew you wouldn't. You
because I
dirty
don't think
bitch.
I don't think it's going to be about what I talked about with you the other day. I think I'm changing it up. We'll see. We'll see.
I was looking forward to
I
that, but
love
that's
you so
okay.
much.
I love you too. All right, everybody, have a good night.
Good night.
Okay, bye.
Bye.